Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
I would like to kick off this video by stating the obvious, but it always needs to be said. Everything in this video is alleged, um, uh, but also from a respectful perspective, everything I'm about to state or allude to in this video, I am not stating as a fact. I am not stating as an absolute. But instead, this is for investigative, journalistic purposes only, if you will. But this is a rabbit hole we need to explore. And it didn't dawn on me that a name that came up during the investigation is literally someone that we've covered quite a while ago in the modeling world. We covered this person last summer, and I was like, I don't know how that slipped past me. So I'm super excited to cover that. Now let's dig into some things. We know that there are many connections between Erika Kirk, Jeffrey Epstein. The connection that I made was in 2018, I believe in the month of October, Erika Kirk applied for the luxurious real estate agency Corcoran Group that is ran, or the CEO is Barbara Corcoran, or the creator is Barbara Corcoran. I believe one of the CEOs is a woman that goes by the name of Kathy Rothstein, which is the same last name as Erika Kirk's roommate, Rothstein. Kathy Rothstein, along with the other CEO, not only are mentioned in the Epstein files multiple times, but they explicitly did business with Jeffrey Epstein immediately after, like a year after he was a convicted PDF file. They didn't care. They still did business with him, specifically surrounding NDAs regarding his New York property. We know this for a fact. This is in the Epstein files. So the CEO of a real estate agency that Erika Kirk is registered under, even though we can't find anywhere any properties that she sold, she's attached to this Corcoran Group. Well, let's make a couple of other connections. And we're going to start with the clip that Candace shared just the other day about Erika. Let's start with this clip first.
Behold, the very next day on January 30th, the Epstein files were released. And I thought, oh, how precise. Is it possible that the meeting was related to the Epstein files, which are heavily redacted and obviously not complete? And said to myself, well, Erika was heavily involved in the pageantry world, really her whole life. Trump was also heavily involved in the pageantry world. More specifically, Donald Trump was actually the 50% owner of Miss America alongside NBC Universal when Erika was crowned.
And that's not a coincidence, and you're about to see why that's not a coincidence. In today's live, we will be reacting to a snippet or a clip of a documentary that, once again, we covered last summer, where a model did a voiceover of the documentary, and she exposed a model that was literally there, that exposed what the modeling agency is actually about, from money laundering to the illegal transportation of human bodies, right? Abuse, all types of manipulation, right? Including the parents. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
And Trump and Epstein's relationship, to be sure, seemed to be centered around pageantry and the modeling world and parties. There was even a lawsuit that was filed back in 1997 over a pageant company wherein one of the guys had said that during a meeting for his company that Jeffrey Epstein was there, which is kind of like an honorable mention. So, yep. Okay, and Trump has never denied that he hung out with Epstein. He said, I never went to the island, but there are obviously photos. So that's interesting. And I want to make sure you understand what Jeffrey Epstein did, how he was trafficking. It's important to remember that Jeffrey Epstein was specifically trafficking women from Eastern Europe through modeling agencies, okay? So It's a great cover, whether he was working with Victoria's Secret, Les Wexner hands him the keys, and all of a sudden he's like a casting director looking at all of these models. Jean-Luc Brunel in Paris, his agency, MC2 Modeling, Jean-Luc Brunel kills himself. The media doesn't want to mention the fact that they also had offices in Tel Aviv. Jean-Luc Brunel did. And that's how he was accomplishing it, because when you see a lot of women at a modeling agency, you don't go, oh, maybe these women are being from Europe. Maybe these women are, not actually happy to be here. Maybe they're in some danger, right? It's like the illusion when there's just a lot of models at any event, whether it's a pageant, anything else, is that this is normal because it's just the world of fashion. Or
Jean-Luc Brunel, remember that name. Remember the name Jean-Luc Brunel. That's going to be very, very relevant for this video.
the world of beauty or the world of modeling. Okay, so Victoria's Secret he's doing casting for. And also when you go through his emails, it seems like he's also hand-picking girls for certain pageants.
Yep.
And I've read through some of them. Like he had clearly a very strong relationship with the Miss North Carolina one year. I thought, okay, maybe still another coincidence, right? Erika's in pageant world, Trump's in pageant world, Epstein's in pageant world-ish. Then we took a week off to investigate Erika, and I was even more stunned by some more coincidences, and I'm going to run you through them here. Okay, so in 2010, we know Jeffrey Epstein, based on the emails, begins procuring models from Romania. We also know that that's the same time and year the Black Sea Rotational Force in Constanta, Romania, is being led by Erika's cousin, Lieutenant Colonel Denis Franțve. It's the first time America is operating a base in Romania, which is later going to be accused of prostituting underage Romanian children. Brothel, Colonel Otto Buscher. Same time frame, Tyler Boyer goes out to Constanta, Romania, and he's hanging out and he's partying and he's drinking with Romanian models and parliament politicians. Then Tyler is going to return from Romania around September of 2010. Makes sense because he was attending Arizona State University, so school's got to get going. And then that same year, Jeffrey Epstein begins giving money to Arizona State University, specifically for their Origins project. Okay. 4 months after that, Erika, and this is now into 2011, in May of 2011, Tyler Boyer is going to get unusually elected to the Board of Regents. And I say unusually because the governor, he kind of didn't go through the normal process, and the governor just decides Tyler Boyer's the guy. And then 4 months beyond that, Erika is going to enroll into ASU for her final year of college, from 2011, 2012. And immediately 2 months after that, after the semester begins, she wins Miss Arizona USA, right, in November.
And that's going to be very important as well, because later in this video, you're going to hear and you're going to learn from other models what the modeling industry is actually about. And you're going to learn the significance of what it truly means to actually win. It's not just about being beautiful. It's not just about maybe there was something special about you. There are other politics that happens in the modeling world, which it doesn't take a brain surgeon or a scientist to figure out what some of those things are that are taking place behind the scenes. But it's not just intimacy, if you will. I can't say the S word on YouTube, but there are other things that you could potentially be doing or helping with that could result in you being promoted or allowed to actually win. Right. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. In the documentary clip that I'm going to play here in just a moment, you're going to hear the models exposing all of that.
Right after winning, we know she's going to establish this working partnership with the U.S. Marines Black Sea Rotational Force in Constanta, teaming up with them to run the Romanian Angels Project through her 501c3 Everyday Heroes. She's going to go out to Constanta. She's working with Colonel Otto Buscher, that same colonel who's going to be accused of trafficking and underage Romanians, apparently up and through Tel Aviv. And I do want to also say about that, in general, why did she partner with the U.S. Marines at all? Right. That's not a requirement. Okay, right. I went to Romania twice. My best friend was Romanian and actually lived, her family, like she grew up here, but her family lived in Constanta. You can just go do charity. You don't have to team up with the U.S. Marines. This is a EU member state. Okay, you don't need the protection of U.S. Marines to be in Romania and decide that you want to drop off some Christmas gifts. Really, you just need an address to do that. But for some reason, this particular charity felt that they needed to team up with the U.S. Marines. I just want to point, no one's really recognized that. You don't need to do that. I can go do charity anywhere in Europe right now. Doesn't demand a partnership with the U.S. Marines. It's very strange. Then we have in 2014, 2015, Erika begins tweeting that she's a casting director or casting recruiter in Los Angeles. The same time, she's kind of trying to break into the industry herself, which we've shown. And I also want to say that during this time that she's trying to get involved in reality TV, we find her floating around Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett is also running Mark Burnett Productions. He's running Trump's Apprentice show. A lot of synergy happening around this time. I do believe that Erika knew Donald Trump before she ever met Charlie Kirk. I think that's honestly evident. And so it really makes you wonder if this kind of brings in Colvette, because Kairos Company is working with Mark Burnett via Johnny Moore. It's very weird around this time frame, but it's this next little time frame that I want to get to you guys on. All right, so I'll tell you how I got this information. I had received a tip a while ago saying, hey, their Next Model Management in New York City, Faith Cates, who was the co-founder of it, had to step down because of her involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. She's like in his emails like 4,000 times, even after he got arrested for pedophilia. She's like, I will never betray you. I will never, ever betray you. Like, I've got your back to the end. She was very close. I mean, look, she's inviting him here in this email to her son's bar mitzvah. And this person said, just so you know, Erika was involved with Next Model Management, right?
So that is now Kathy Rothstein, Barbara Corcoran, and now this person all connected and personally knew Jeffrey Epstein. And these are all people that Erika Kirk allegedly had direct professional ties to. Real estate license, some sort of history with Corcoran Real Estate Agency, and now the top model place. All of these people knew Jeffrey Epstein, not to mention, obviously, Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein specifically from the modeling world. And based on what we're about to hear from the models, we know why Trump was in the modeling world. Why else would you be? It makes the most sense from 2 or 3 perspectives, or 2 or 3 things make the most sense why Donald Trump. And money is one of them, but there are a couple of other reasons too. Donald Trump is not an exception.
This is a tip. And this person did not work with Next Model Management. So I was like, okay, tip, let's see where it leads, kind of investigating things. Then I kind of reach into some old contact cards. I'm going, that would be very curious, because Next Model Management apparently had tons of Eastern European girls all around the office. And like I said, you can look more into the Faith Cates thing, but it's not great. Okay? It's not great. The relationship that Faith Cates had with Jeffrey Epstein, Eastern European models all around Next Model Management office. He was helping this model agency in particular. And so I decided to see if I could get some more people to verify that Erika was involved. What was she doing? Was she modeling? No. Well, I was able to confirm it, not just once, not twice, 3 times, 4 times, with people with direct knowledge that Erika Kirk was multiple times taking meetings at Next Model Management and dealing with the people, like the suits that would surround Faith Cates, people like Jeffrey Epstein. Now, they did not say they saw her meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, but they said essentially Jeffrey Epstein was always there because he was so close with Faith. This cannot be denied. You can go through their emails. They're very close. And so he would sometimes come in and he would take a meeting. And so he would just kind of, when you're friends with someone, I'm going to take an office, and nobody knew what the context of these meetings were. They are saying that in meetings like that, meaning Erika was not there because of a modeling contract or because they don't know why she was there. They don't know why Erika was in that same category of suits, right? Of just like suits, and they were not to ask questions, and Erika is there and she's taking meetings at Next Model Management. So now, feeling 100% certain that this information was real, like I said, confirming it 4 ways, I decided to go out and ask Erika what she was doing there. Because if people with intimate knowledge situation don't know what she was doing there, that's not great.
I just want to say for the record, it's so funny to me that I think she's doing the responsible thing by reaching out. Of course, Erika's not going to respond. But it's so funny to me that you're exposing all these things about this lady and you're doing a public investigation. If for some reason you think she's going to openly and freely talk to you, it's probably not going to happen.
Right? What are the chances? What does Erika have to do with Next Model Management? What is she doing there? And I went out to her and I, of course, copied the spokesperson, Andrew Colvette. And I said, what specifically were you doing at Next Model Management in New York City? What's up? What do you do? Did you run into Epstein? I just want to know, what is your relationship with Faith? How about that? Give me the context of this. Crickets. I feel like that would be a very easy email to answer. One question: what is the context of your relationship with Next Model Management? We've now confirmed that you were taking meetings here. What was the nature of those meetings? And I mentioned, she's obviously had a falling out she had to step down because of the Epstein emails, and she retired. She said it's like the nice way of, I'm deciding to retire, and nothing. Wouldn't you just answer that instantly. Like if someone just emailed me and said, what is the context? You know, you're ASU, you got Romania going on, you're not this modeling agency. And they said like there were constantly Eastern European models all over the office. I mean, like it was just everywhere. And Epstein would just come all the time. Like, you know, this was his friend. Why wouldn't he come into his friend's office? Wouldn't you like rank that really high in terms of just giving a comment and being like, oh, I was there for, I don't know what would be an appropriate answer. I literally don't know what would be an appropriate answer. I don't know why I should be there. But wouldn't you just offer that answer if there was a good answer?
Yeah, and here's the thing. A very simple question would be this: what are the possibilities of whatever it is or could be that Erika Kirk was doing with Next Model Management? If this turns out to be true, none of this has been verified. None of this may be real. But if it is real, which I would feel that if it wasn't real, they would easily just disprove this or respond and just, completely shut this down. But they're choosing not to for whatever reason, which only leads people to believe that there could be some credence to this, right? If Erika is affiliated with a modeling agency, and she's not actually modeling, what could be Erika's role? To me, the first thing that will come to my mind is recruiter. She would be a recruiter. Before I play this second clip of Candace Owens, I want to go ahead and transition into this documentary. So there is a documentary entitled, make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I get this right. American Girl Grace Stirs Up Success. All right. And back in August of 2025, we reacted to this model who personally met Jeffrey Epstein, and she just blew the lid off of everything. And she talked about what the modeling world was actually about and how it actually worked. And there were handlers. Nobody should be shocked to hear that. She talked about it was handlers. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to play all of her video because she uses a lot of language, and I would have had to edit too much of that video, and it's a really long video. It is on my Patreon. Link is in the description to my Patreon if you would like to see it. Many of you all have already watched it if you've been a Patreon member. However, we're going to react to a snippet of the documentary. But before I show you the snippet of the documentary of these models exposing these people, including the guy, Jean-Luc Brunel, who was 100% an affiliate of Jeffrey Epstein, I'm going to first show you just a small clip of that model reacting to this documentary. I hope I'm not confusing you. The same documentary that we're about to watch in just a moment, this model screen recorded the same documentary, and she did a voiceover to expose all the lies that they told in the documentary, to confirm the things that were true, or to even take the things that were true a little bit further and share more information that the models refused to share. This is just a snippet of it.
They'll have a modeling agency in Europe, which will get them work and be their home away from home.
Okay, so I was in the most promising model contest with John Robert Powers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From there, I went to New York for a competition at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. I walked the runway one time, and Monique Pollard, you'll see her in pictures with Cindy Crawford, Naomi, and all the gang, approached me and said she was Coral from Florida, a real nice little grandmotherly looking lady. Yeah, and then I met Douglas Ash, who was my handler.
Now, the lady that she just said is a little sweet looking lady. The lady turned out to be a handler. We're about to see her in just a moment in this documentary. They use women, young and older women, to befriend these girls, to almost comfort them, right? To buffer the anxiety that these girls are feeling. But these women are predators, just like Ghislaine Maxwell. That was Ghislaine Maxwell's role with Jeffrey Epstein, right? She was just as much a predator as he was. But because she was a woman, she's much more likely to be trusted by other women, let alone young underage girls.
In New York, the president of American Models, and he paraded me around New York City. Then they shipped me off to Paris for Claude Haddad, which you will soon see in this documentary. He's the right-hand man to Jean-Luc Brunel. I was in Paris, I was in Milan, it was freaking hell. I will continue. I'm going to do live streams today on my personal experiences, but again, they called me and interviewed me for this story. This aired and nothing freaking happened.
And as you can see, I titled it on, this is a screen recording from Patreon. It's called The Evil Truth Behind the Modeling Industry Part 1. And she did an incredible job. All right. Now we're going to transition over to the actual documentary. And you're going to hear so many parallels from what we just heard Candace talking about, sort of what she was allegedly told about Erika's role at this next model management place, right? So let's go ahead and transition into this clip of Jean-Luc Brunel and his modeling agency that was taking place in, I believe this was in France. It's called American Girls in Paris.
What they're sending their girls into.
It's a meat market. You are there for the purpose of somebody wanting to take you home to bed.
And what happens if you say no?
You don't work.
Every week, dozens of young American girls walk off airplanes in Paris and Milan, certain that their faces will be the next to beam from the covers of the fashion magazines. They are girls as young as 15 and 16, recruited by talent scouts or sent by their local modeling agencies, because Europe has more fashion houses and magazines, and it's easier to get that first big break there than in New York. The girls are told that they'll have a modeling agency in Europe, which will get them work and be their home away from home. They are girls like Sherry Bolts from Pompano Beach, Florida, a cheerleader who dropped out of high school and used her savings to buy a plane ticket to Europe when she was just 17. Her local modeling agency helped arrange it and still gets a percentage of her European income. And girls like Megan Douglas, who was a switchboard operator in Washington, D.C., when her photograph won her a spot in a modeling contest. And girls like Kimberly Barker of Nampa, Idaho, whose parents took out a loan to get the money to send her to Europe and to give her a shot at the big time. Though the odds are about 1,000 to 1 that a girl will end up a successful model. A model like Debbie Haggerty, who makes about $150,000 a year, and says the top models may do all right, but it's rough for all the others trying to break through.
Did you hear that? Majority of the models, regardless of how pretty they are, regardless of what you may think about their bodies, regardless of how sweet they are, regardless of how quote unquote hard working they are, and whatever that means in the modeling world, right? They struggle. It's a small percentage of the models that actually win and are actually successful. What should that tell you, especially after what you're about to hear? What should that tell you is taking place and what you have to do to become a model? So if you become Miss America for a particular state, what are you doing and what did you have to do to win? Because we know it's not just about being pretty.
Nasty business, and I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into.
What did she just say? Let's take that back. Say it again.
The others trying to break through.
Nasty business, and I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into.
It's a nasty business. I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into, right? Erika allegedly was in the modeling world, since she was 13? And as we know, she has won. But let's continue.
What the parents are told by those local modeling agencies and talent scouts is that their daughters have been signed up with European modeling agencies which will take care of everything and become the girls' family abroad.
How many girls are on option for this?
So it's something of a shock when the girls discover that a lot of those agencies routinely take as much as 3/4 of the girls' salary.
Wow.
For instance, charging fees on the photographs the girls need for promotion, and ostensibly deducting taxes and Social Security, even though most of the girls are working illegally without work permits. We have to check for that.
It's very confusing.
Servan Sherwat is president of a fledgling models union in Paris. She's helping some of the girls bring lawsuits against the agencies to learn just where all that money goes.
What happens if the girl goes to the agency and says, wait a minute, how much did the client...
They never want to explain it. They just say, okay, baby, we have a lot of experience and we have to pay the tax department and we have to pay a lot of things, so don't try to understand.
So do the agencies really pay Social Security on an illegal work?
We don't even know exactly if they pay all the amounts. I'm sure they don't pay for that.
Okay, so for those of you that may not have just caught what just happened, this woman here who's being interviewed is admitting on camera that, number one, these models, who are in some cases as young as 15 years old, as you're about to hear in just a moment, 15, 16-year-old girls are being flown across the world. Their parents in some cases are giving permission to fly their girls across the world under the guise of their daughter becoming a top model, not understanding what their daughter is being sent to. The very little money that these girls are making, most of it is being taken due to rent and other fees and taxes. Even though there's no way, this woman just admitted there's no way to corroborate this, which to me sounds like money laundering, right? Furthermore, a large percentage of these models aren't even successful, and these models are living, as you're about to hear, in a confined space, right? So we're already hearing so many things that's wrong with this, but it only gets worse.
The modeling agencies also own apartments all around Paris, which they rent out to the new girls who come to town. Several girls to an apartment, and each girl paying a lot of rent.
I lived in an apartment that was by no means nice. There was 4 girls living there at the time. We did have our own rooms, but the rooms were like the size of boxes.
Courtney Powell is from Stoneboro, Pennsylvania.
And how much was the rent?
$900 a month.
And you probably
$900 a month?
$900 a month. That was when the franc was low.
$900 a month in 1980. Bro, what? Imagine how much $900 was in 1980. Oh my gosh.
We were each paying that.
Oh, hi, sir.
Eileen Ford runs the Ford Modeling Agency in New York, one of the largest agencies in the world. She's known for the way she protects her girls. She uses the European agencies to book work for her girls abroad.
This lady right here is the woman that I thought of. This woman right here you're looking at is the Ghislaine Maxwell of France, allegedly. This woman here was responsible, okay, the model that did the voiceover that I let you all hear just moments ago. In her video that we reacted to on Patreon, 11 months, whenever that was, 7 months ago, she stated that this lady right here was like the Ghislaine Maxwell of this modeling world, because her role was to take girls who were experiencing abuse and other, I have to be so careful with my language here, other forms of unwanted behavior from the likes of Jean-Luc Brunel, who we're about to see here in just a moment, a very good friend of Jeffrey Epstein. I want to keep repeating that. Her job was to console these women. So when these women would come and report certain things that they experienced, certain things that happened, she would pretend that she was there for them. But it was her job to console and pamper and keep the girls all together, keep everything from blowing up, keep lawsuits from happening, recruiting more girls. Does that sound familiar?
So a contract with her can have a profound effect on a European agency's business. We met her at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, where she was looking for new faces. We asked her about the girls' complaints that their rent is way overpriced.
I've heard that, and I know that it's true. It is true that they're overcharged for these apartments? Yeah, they're overcharged in New York, too. By the agencies? Sure.
The girls say not only do a lot of agencies take financial advantage of them, sometimes they're taken advantage of in other ways, too.
Oh, my God.
There he is. There he is.
This is an agency owner named Claude Haddad. For years, his Paris agency, Mademoiselle Prestige, welcomed teenage American girls. Like other agency heads, Haddad offered many of the new girls help with the transition, temporary housing, a room in his apartment.
Nice body, huh?
Do you sometimes feel you've awakened in a candy store?
Not in a flower shop. I'm a gardener. They're not candy, they are flowers.
And
just smell them, that's it.
Yeah, he's lying.
Smell the perfume.
And when they're staying in your apartment?
Yes.
You don't feel a temptation to get in on them?
Absolutely not.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Lies. A heterosexual man around several young women that are unrelated to him, that are models, that he had a personal hand in helping recruit, which means he's looking for certain things that he finds attractive. He wants you to believe that having these 15 and 16-year-old girls at his place, no, not believable at all.
But Lorraine was 16 when Claude Haddad discovered her in a Paris street and brought her to his agency and to his house.
He asked me to come to his room, and I wouldn't go to his room, so he had decided to get into bed with me in my room. And just trying to kiss you, trying to block you, in a corner or against a wall or anything. And you would just keep talking and trying to squiggle out of it,
How many of the girls who came in told you that he had tried this sort of thing with them?
All the girls I lived with had, all except one.
How many teenage models, Mr. Haddad, have you slept with?
What do you mean by teenage?
The young girls, 16 to 19.
16, almost never.
Let me read you some letters.
Almost never.
These are letters.
I have a lot of letters, too.
He walked in on me while I was in the bath, while I was changing in the room, and even did things like jumping in the bed with me while I was trying to sleep. Is it true?
No, most of this, it's always, when people say something, it's always a little truth.
What's the little truth in this?
Yes, a little truth.
What do you mean, little? What is the little?
That I hug them, that I try to flirt with them, but never more. They can say what they want.
Here's some of the words they used. Sexually disturbed, pervert. You had to sleep with him to work. He almost to me.
I cannot. What do you say? How many? Almost. You always use almost.
Quoting. But in this case, it was a 15-year-old girl.
Can I? I refuse.
15 years old?
I don't remember. Maybe it's possible. I don't know.
This is the modeling world. So it should come as no surprise that all of these people are who they are, right? This is how they were speaking about it. She clarified that she repeated to make sure you understood, a 15-year-old. You understand I'm saying that these are the allegations from a 15-year-old. His response was, I don't know, I don't remember. Maybe it's true.
Then Claude Haddad went on to say, what happens with the girls is not really his fault.
When a French girl starts to play with her body, she knows that she can have problems. She can start to have problems with men. And in America, I found out that when a girl does that, it's just, she doesn't even mean it. It's a game, but she's not thinking of what she's doing. It took me a long time to realize this.
Do you work with Claude Haddad?
No, sir. No more.
Wouldn't send your girls to him?
No, ma'am. He knows why.
Why?
Because I don't think he behaved properly with some of them. I know he didn't.
What did he do?
No, and I know what he did. I have letters from girls telling you what he did.
The model who did the voiceover at this point in the documentary actually goes on to say at this part in the documentary, she said that this woman here is lying. Lying as number one, stating that she no longer works with the guy. She absolutely continued to work with her, according to the model. Number two, the model went on to state that once again, she was helping aid in this, right? She was helping facilitate these models because this is the nature of the modeling business. The model was stating that usually what you have is a recruiter, which are usually men, right? They're like the top guys, the ones that calls the shot, make the final decisions. But then they'll have someone that plays that middle role, right, as an intermediary. And in this particular case, the model is stating that that was this woman's role. And that is usually what is needed in modeling agencies.
To me, it's just so reprehensible, just so appalling that some old sleazebag would come along and touch a girl.
But one man Eileen Ford does associate with in Paris is this man, the head of Karen Models, one of the largest and most prestigious agencies in the country. His name is Jean-Luc Brunel.
There he is, Jean-Luc Brunel. And this is about to get very interesting. Now, this right here, who you all see on the screen, Jean-Luc Brunel is the one that Candace referenced earlier in the video, and they claim that this guy unalived himself. Now, the claims are that this guy unalived himself in 2022. This guy had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but he was arrested. And once he was arrested, he was facing allegations of inappropriate behavior with an underage, with a minor. Surprise, surprise. This very close associate of Jeffrey Epstein is alleged to have taken himself out in jail. Very similar circumstances to Jeffrey Epstein. How convenient, because he couldn't bear or stand the idea of spending the rest of his life in jail. So instead of waiting to see if he would even be convicted, he took himself out. That is what they tell us in 2022. So it was very recent.
The girls told us Brunel is very careful about the models who are under the protection of Eileen Ford. But Courtney and Sherry, who are not Ford models, told us about the dinners he invites his other girls to attend with his male friends.
It's a meat market. You are there for the purpose of somebody wanting to take you home to bed.
He is acting as a matchmaker. He's got the agency, he's got the girls. His friends say, oh, Jean-Luc, I'd like to meet some girls, or we're having a party tonight. Can you bring some girls?
And what happens if you say no?
You don't work.
There you go.
You've actually known, be very careful on this, you actually have known that he has made someone pay a professional penalty for saying no.
I know, I paid a penalty for saying no. I was personally proposed to by himself, Jean-Luc, and I said, no way. I laughed in his face, and I had no more appointments, and I never worked.
What about the fact that people say when you come over here, you've come over knowing what you're getting into. And everyone knows.
How can you know what you're getting into? How can you know what you're getting into? This is like a foreign country.
I don't know how old they are in this clip, but I find it hard to believe. I don't care what country it is. Your job is to, in some cases, be half naked, other cases not as much, so that people, mostly men, can look at your body and judge you based on your body, and you win that way. That is the way you will pay your bills. That is the value that they're placing on you if they find your body attractive or not. You don't think that will invoke other thoughts? But not here to blame them. I'm just stating that maybe that's something that we should start thinking about, you know?
No, I mean, I'm from Florida, little city, Pompano Beach, you know, I mean, come on, how am I going to know what goes on in Paris, you know, or Milan? I mean, I don't even speak the language. I don't know anyone, you know? I'm in a new environment, you know? I don't know anyone. I have to trust the people that I come over here with. I mean, I'm naive, I'm young.
A lot of these bigwigs at the agencies literally have a scale where in this hand they have your career, and in this hand they have what they want. And your career can go up if they get what they want. If they don't get it, your career goes down.
That right there alone should be the end of this video. She just exposed what the modeling industry is about, right? That says it all.
Many girls ever come to you and tell you that Jean-Luc invites them to parties where he has male friends, and it's clear what the arrangement is when you get there, and that you are expected to be the friend of his male friends.
I don't believe that, I mean, I believe they said it.
But you don't believe it's true?
I find it hard to believe it's true.
Yeah. The model who reacted to this went absolutely insane. She started screaming. She said that this lady is a compulsive liar. That Jean-Luc Brunel, once again, who was in this business with Jeffrey Epstein, who was also in this business with President Trump, the same President Trump that just appointed Erika Kirk to the board over the Department of Defense. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here. All right. This is who we're talking about here. What are we expected? What are we expected to believe? First and foremost, why was Erika Kirk able to win? So, okay, she was modeling at the time. We're hearing from models what it takes to make it to the top. We're hearing from models what it takes to make it to the top. Well, you say, well, maybe it's different. No, they're stating, in the model who did the voiceover or reaction to this same documentary stated that there are no exceptions. This is the world of modeling. This is just how the game works. It's the way it's designed. For one agency to be different from the next in this regard, what means that it's not a modeling agency, it's something else. According to this model, these are not my words. Again, feel free to check out that video on Patreon if you get a chance. She exposed quite a bit. She named names, quite a few names. So the bigger question that I have here is that this is when Erika was modeling before she met Charlie Kirk. What are we expected to believe then in 2018, around the same time when she was interviewing with TPUSA? So it's verified she has this connection to Trump through modeling. It's no secret, Trump, Jeffrey Epstein connection. Now we have this Jean-Luc Brunel alleged PDF file, right? You got Erika connected to the military, but this time in 2018, she is affiliated with the modeling world, allegedly through Next Model Management. But this time, she's playing a different role. She's not going to be actually modeling. So once again, I'm just asking the question, what could she have been doing? What role could she have been playing? Same question we have for the real estate agency. How is it that you are affiliated, or it appears that you worked for the Corcoran real estate agency with CEOs that are in the Epstein files doing business with Jeffrey Epstein, but we can't find anywhere where you've sold any properties, right? I'm asking the same question. Why would she partner with the military, the same military where there are people that are alleged, and in some cases, I believe, convicted pedophiles, accused of having brothels? Enough with the coincidences. Enough with, well, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. But the picture that's been painted here, the connections that's been painted here, the affiliations is off the charts. This is why Ben Shapiro is encouraging people to call Candace evil. This is why Ben Shapiro is calling anybody who's looking into Erika Kirk evil. Why do you care, Ben Shapiro? Do you believe that if we follow this, the breadcrumbs is going to lead us to a certain nation that's employing, and in some cases deploying people into this country to serve different agendas in different roles and positions? Is that what's really going on here? This is Jean-Luc Brunel. Knowing what we know about this guy, and what you're about to continue to hear about this guy, it just makes this photo that much more disgusting. How do these people get these positions? Where do they come from? How are you able to convince somebody to start a modeling agency like that's a real job, to pay these girls, but then take most of their money, and then you're using some of these girls for different reasons?
We've been told
I have heard, oh, I'm sure you have. If you wouldn't be asking me if you weren't told that was true. But I like to think that our girls are not treated that way. And I like to think that were that true, I would know it because I've broken off more than one association here in my life.
And you'd break it off immediately.
Yes, I would.
If it were
You bet
true.
I would.
At discotheques like the Bandouche and the Palace, models are admitted free. When we filmed at the Bandouche, Jean-Luc Brunel was there. A number of models told us he has used cocaine heavily and offered it to the girls, along with help in their careers. Many of the girls who spoke with us said openly that they had been regular cocaine users, but some warned that there were things that went beyond cocaine. This one asked to be photographed in shadow.
So you first met Jean-Luc Brunel in a nightclub when he offered you drugs, cocaine. And Jean-Luc, did he use drugs?
Oh, yes.
You say, oh, yes, a lot?
Well, that's why I used to like to see him, because he'd always give me a little vial of cocaine and say, you know, go have a good time in the bathroom. That was more or less, he did that with all the girls. Everyone else.
This girl told us a few years ago she went to Jean-Luc's house with a few of his friends. She said a powerful hallucinogenic drug was slipped into her drink and that Jean-Luc kept urging her to go in and take a bath.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like the same tactics that P. Diddy was using. Sounds like the same tactics that Jeffrey Epstein was using, allegedly, in the Epstein files. And we've already, shout out to Whitney Webb, who already made the connection between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, a part of the same network. So it's not a secret that they allegedly used the same strategies and methods.
I started hallucinating, and at first, you know, I was very confusing because it was very scary, because if you don't know that you've been drugged and all of a sudden you start hallucinating, that's very scary.
She said she managed to get out of the house but stayed disoriented for 24 hours. But this ex-model says several years ago she went to Jean-Luc's house and didn't get away. She asked to have her voice and face disguised.
He gave you a drink?
Yes.
You drank it and then...
I blacked out. I don't remember anything after that.
The next thing you remember
was being in this man's bed.
Who was he?
Do I have to say the name? It was Jean-Luc.
Y'all heard it. This is the same Jean-Luc Brunel. I want to keep repeating this. That is not only affiliated with Epstein. That's no secret. That's public record. But according to Candace, also affiliated with these people that are over Next Model Management, another modeling agency that Erika Kirk is allegedly attached to. Are we starting to see a pattern here?
From Karen's modeling agency.
You were...
Yes, I do know that.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm positive. I know.
You think everybody knows this about Jean-Luc Brunel?
Oh, yes. A lot of people know that. A lot of people.
They continue to deal with him.
Everyone continues to deal with it. I don't know why.
We played a tape of the second girl's story of drugs and to Eileen Ford.
I don't know what to tell you. That's horrible.
And this is the first time you've ever...
You don't know what to tell her. This woman is evil.
Heard one of these stories.
Absolutely.
Because we have talked to 5 other girls who say that they have had drugs put in their drinks by Jean-Luc or Jean-Luc's friends.
I hope you're wrong. And for his sake, I hope you're wrong.
Eileen Ford says she's sure Jean-Luc has used drugs, and she even warned him about it.
I have certainly asked him never to have drugs around in front of my models.
That's all you've ever said to him?
Well, that's a pretty fair warning.
But were you ever told about this and ever raised it with him?
The drugs? You mean being doped up and put to bed?
Getting girls drugged up and into bed with him or his friends?
No.
Have girls ever come back and complained to you that he took them to parties with people who dealt in drugs?
No.
The model once again, who did the voiceover of this documentary, at this part of the documentary, once again, she said this is a bold-faced lie because she experienced it firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience. She know that this woman, many girls came to this woman and told this woman this. But again, that was this woman's role. What am I getting at here? What I'm getting at is there are usually 1 or 2 roles. You're either going to be a model or you're going to participate in helping recruit and silence certain things that take place in the modeling world. You're probably going to be doing one or the other, like a Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is now at the age where she is not a model, right? So her role was something else with Jeffrey Epstein.
So here they are, the fresh new faces from Omaha and Washington and Pompano Beach and Wichita. every girl hoping for a lightning bolt that will transform an ordinary teenager into a superstar. While not far away, the wiser and older girls of 19 and 20 say someone has to warn them what may lie ahead.
I can't really see any solution to the problem in Paris at this moment because I think there'll always be people who are sending their girls over thinking, well, she's different. Every mother believes that her daughter is different. And it's sad. I think it really is sad. When she could have been going to her junior prom, she was hanging out at the bandouche with a bunch of playboys, shoving cocaine up her nose and ruining her reputation and her life. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Jean-Luc Brunel declined to give us an interview, but Eileen Ford has since told us that Brunel denied to her the allegations against him. Despite that, however, she told us that she has notified Brunel that she will not send him any new models unless this matter is all cleared up.
So what's the likelihood that this has been exposed about what's happening in that modeling world you think is different other places? What's the likelihood that you take half-naked women and young girls, you place them in a room to walk in circles for grown men to decide if they're beautiful enough, if they have the right body type, if they're the right size in the right places? What's the likelihood that maybe, just maybe, some of these things were taking place and you have a couple of people in that room whose job is to help those girls feel comfortable, to help those girls look the other way when unwanted, inappropriate things are taking place to them and to other people around them, right? To convince these girls that it's not that bad. Who better to do it than a woman? Now, with everything you just heard, now I want you to hear this additional information that, just to loop it back around what Candace shared, the following episode, what she has allegedly been told, or she can allegedly confirm, what she can confirm about what she allegedly found out.
What is also a fact is that some of the employees that and some of the people who were associated parties with Next Models remember Erika Kirk at the office taking meetings. Weird, because Erika Kirk, despite her very illustrious, multi-hyphenated career, she's actually never made the claim to have worked for a modeling agency. So what was she doing? That was a question we went out to her with. What were you actually doing here, parked up at this office? What is your connection here to Next Model Agency, Next Model Management? And do you know Faith Cates? How do you know Faith Cates, Erika? Did you see Epstein walking around the office? Fair questions. Well, what we can now confirm, and these are eyewitness accounts specifically, that they recall Erika because she was taking meetings at the office, and those offices were pertaining to real estate. Real estate for the models that were coming from Eastern Europe, who were being packed like sardines into apartment buildings. Now, on background, in case you're not familiar with the modeling industry, as I am not, the sources confirm that what is typical in the modeling world was for agencies to find places for girls to stay while they were in New York. They tell me, and I'm going to quote this here, I quote, younger girls, when they first get to New York City, they pack them in like cattle into one apartment.
That's where Erika was located. That is where Erika was allegedly dating. That is where Corcoran agency, real estate agency, is also located. New York City or New York.
End quote. Which makes Erika's role curious because multiple people remember and they say that Erika Kirk was the contact. Specifically, what they recall is she was the contact for a white building on the Upper East Side around 68th Street and 2nd and 3rd Avenue. It's pretty specific. Yeah, that she was the contact. Now, why? What?
A white building that Candace would then go on the next episode to confirm or to say that it's allegedly Jeffrey Epstein's brother's building. I believe his name is Mark Epstein, right? So yeah, what are we to make of this, right? What are we to make of this? At some point, these connections aren't just coincidences, and at some point, these connections that we don't need people to, I guess we need to confirm if they actually took place or not, but we don't need anybody to have a conversation with us to tell us why they were doing things. Honestly, if you're connected to all these folks that had personal relationships, right? Who we got? We got Trump. Erika knew Trump through the modeling world. Boom. I got to figure out to share a screen where we can sort of make these connections together, but I'm all over the place on my sheet of paper where I'm making all these connections. So you got Trump through modeling. Erika knew Trump before she met Charlie. Charlie Kirk was doing campaign runs within 3 to 4 years of opening TPUSA with Donald Trump Jr. So that's like as early as what, 2014, 2015, when Trump was running for the first time around. So that's before he met Erika, allegedly. She also has a real estate license through Corcoran Real Estate, whose founder is Barbara Corcoran, who knew Jeffrey Epstein. And then you had, I believe it's Kathy Rothstein. All right. What's also interesting is it was either Kathy Rothstein or the other CEO who was on, what is it, Shark Tank or whatever it is, that show with Donald Trump. So this is a person that's not only connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but also connected to Donald Trump. Did business with Donald Trump. And I believe it's Kathy Rothstein. Now you have Faith Kate through a modeling agency called Next Model Management that literally is called model management. So that means your job would be to manage the models. Who does that sound like to you? I don't know. Yeah. Yes. And the video here, let me go to it. I'll pull it. Let's see if we can pull it up together. One of these ladies, let's see here. Is it video? Boom.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just...
Okay, that's really strange that's not, what are you doing? Why is the video not playing? If you are not yet a member of the Patreon, okay, that's weird. Let's see if we can pull this up. I'll know it once I get to the photos of these people. What? Let me pause this. This is weird. Watching myself. I don't want to watch the whole video back. I just want to, okay, here it is. Let's see. I don't know why the video's buffering. It's really strange. All right. On 2018, I believe it was, she applied for this luxurious real estate agency on Corcoran or something to that effect, right? All these people are the owners, a couple of the CEOs from this. Darn it. Okay. It's not that video. It's another one that I did. So it must have been the live. I want to show it to you all. It's kind of important so we can at least get the name right. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, here we go. I believe this is Kathy. Crazy, right? People have already been covering that. Is wild. But anyways, so Lynn Rothschild, the person suspected of introducing Jeffrey Epstein to Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew, she is listed as the president of this Lynn Rothstein, that's her name. Lynn, not Kathy. Luxurious real estate business, right? And there's another person since the year 2000 that is listed as the CEO and president of the same real estate company. And this person's name is Pamela Lieben. All right. Pamela Lieben. Now I want to make sure I got this right, which by the way, Pamela Lieben is also in the Epstein files. Okay. Boom. I just wanted to confirm the names. I'll drop the links to both of those in the description if you all are interested in watching either of those videos. For sure. I'm watching Didi. Y'all are so funny. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, these are way too many connections, man. Way too many connections. Trump, you got Barbara Corcoran, you got Lynn Rothstein, you got Faith Kate, and you got Pamela Lieben. So that's another person. That's Pamela. People, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people around Erika, all connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And most of these people are in professional settings, which makes it worse because the professional settings are tied to modeling. Y'all get it. Y'all don't need me to just keep repeating that, but y'all get it.
Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.